those nights in Montreal.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
When I think about those nights in Montreal, all I think about is weed. Memories of city lights and packing bowls.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Canada Quebec Connection. We had a change of, here we are. I would like to acknowledge that I'm on unceded Ktunaxa territory and Cranbrook, British Columbia. And how's things going tonight, Loretta?
The bitches are back. The bitchin' is back. Here I am in the unceded Canadian Kahaka and Haudenosaunee Confederacy, Huron, Wenda, Anishinaabe, Mohawk territories. All of these territories around Quebec, around Montreal rather. And so I'm here, I'm queer, I'm in your ear.
Right on. That's what we like to hear.
And that's about
we
it.
found out we know that
That's
nobody's
it.
even listening to us, so we can pretty much say whatever the fuck we want. We found that out the other night on doing a live. Nobody was watching us. Al would pop in every now and then, and I actually tried going live tonight here on on doing with StreamYard too, but I don't know if I don't have the right account to hook everything up, because this is my private account. I know with StreamYard, Kim's got her own account, and Al's got an account for them too, right? So for Pace, but he was having problems with it today too, I think. So I don't know, but Al never got back to me. So we're thinking maybe going live, because we see each other, like we're talking and you guys can hear us because we're on Pace, we're on the podcast. But Loretta and I actually sit camera to so we can see each other while we're talking, so she can see my stupid funny faces and stuff. So we thought maybe we would start doing video.
I had an old moment. I thought someone stole my bike today, and I realized that, and then no, I didn't realize. Someone told me that on Friday I usually go to my friend's house after school and have a dinner with these dykes, and one of them, their sister came and she gave me a ride home, and it's because it was raining and I was so happy, and I totally forgot about I didn't use my bike over the last couple of days, and then when I went to go to school today I thought, oh, someone stole my bike, because it happened here a few years ago. So that's where my brain went, and then my friend sent me a message saying,
your
"Ding
bike's
dong,
over there.
I guess you had too much wine." And I go, "No, I have COVID brain, and I'm getting old."
Did you have some wine? Did you have some wine? That's excellent. I actually, it's been pretty lame around here. It's been pretty lame around here. Like, to be fair, Alvin's back to work, and I don't know. I'm just meandering around the house. So.
Well, you sounded like you didn't have a good day because you got your booster shot, which that in itself, can have
No, I don't think it's from the booster shot. It's not from the booster shot. It's I think it's because I have to go off my methotrexate, right? So my body's bouncing all over the place because methotrexate suppresses my immunity. Then I've got a booster that's boosting my immunity, and I've gone off the methotrexate to allow my immune system to be boosted. I just got a bit of a headache, and it's making me tired, but I got rheumatoid arthritis, gives you fatigue anyways, and usually methotrexate balances out, so I don't feel the fatigue. Since I've been off of it, because I had to get the booster shot, it's not, so the fatigue is just a little bit, I think, and a little bit of a low-grade headache, and then I had to pick Taven up from school again today, because he was coughing in class.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
So, how long were you off the metho?
I'm just off it again 2 weeks. So I can take it again this week. But I took it, I didn't take it the Thursday. I had my shot the Friday. So I take it every Thursday night, right? It's just once a week. Mm-hmm. So the Thursday before my vaccine, I didn't take it. And then the following week after, so last Thursday night, I didn't take it. So I've actually missed 2 doses. which they recommend only 1. I've always done 2 because I want that extra immunity. Because after what, listening, rest in peace, Colin Powell passed away today, right?
I know.
The first black man to hold states, generals.
Secretary
of State in the States. I mean, there's
Chief,
a lot of
Joint Chiefs of Staff. Like he was a barrier breaker. They really thought he'd be president. I mean, he had one blot on his career with the misinformation, selling the Iraq War, but he was a great warrior, I think, because he believed that war was really like a bad thing, and and that's what every warrior should think of war as not good.
But because he died
of war, you want him.
But because he was vaccinated, every anti-vaccine fucking troll is out there saying, "See, we told you the vaccine didn't work." The guy had fucking blood cancer, you fucking morons.
Yeah,
and he had Parkinson's, and he was 84. So he had he had 3 strikes against him anyways, to begin with. We all know the vaccine doesn't protect us 100%. It causes less morbidity, blah, blah, blah. Quit trying to sell us on your fucking anti-vax messages.
A-holes. He got COVID because of unvaccinated people. That's why he got COVID.
That's right. But here's my stance is, quit trying to sell me on your anti-vax shit. I'm already vaccinated. You're preaching to your own choir. I don't want to hear it anymore. You got some conspiracy theory where you're off fucking la 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 with Alice in Wonderland, fucking down some rabbit hole with some 5G. Go have your fucking little party down there with your tea. Have at her. And I hope to God that you recover and everything's okay if and when you do get it. But don't try and sell me on your anti-vax bullshit anymore, because you know what? There's so many of us, was it 93% of Canadians want vaccine passports, have said yes to. So we're not talking politicians. This is what democracy is, people. This is what the people want. That's what democracy is. Open your fucking eyes. It's not what Justin Trudeau says, or Joe Biden, or fucking any premier, or any state governor. This is what the people have wanted, because this is what the people have said. We are vaccinated, 93% of us. So look what this is what democracy looks like, motherfuckers. When people actually do what they're supposed to do.
Where are we at in Canada for fully vaxxed? Are we over 80% yet?
I think we're at 80. I think we're at 83%. But there's so many regions that are so like northern British Columbia right now. Vaccine rate up to only 63%, and they've had to move people from northern British Columbia because the ICUs aren't set up for this kind of surgery. They don't have CT scan, machinery and stuff in the hospitals up north. They don't have ICUs. They don't even have an ICU bed in the one hospital up north in Fort Mac, or not Fort Mac. It's Fort St. James. They don't have an ICU bed there. They don't. Their hospitals aren't equipped for this, so they've had to move 55 people. Out of those 55, 49 of them were COVID patients. One was unvaccinated, or one was vaccinated. 48 were unvaccinated. The other portion, the other 5 or 6, whatever it was, were non-COVID related moves, because they had to move them because there were just no room for them where they were. So it could have been a heart attack or a stroke or whatever else. But 48 out of those 49 people that were moved for COVID were unvaccinated fucking people. Saskatchewan having to move 6 people to fucking Ontario because their fucking beds are all full. So this is it's not a matter of, we only got 300 people in the hospital. How many people is a hospital supposed to hold? There's not a hospital bed for every fucking person in Canada. That's not how it works. If everybody in Canada got sick, there is not 398 million ICU beds, motherfuckers. There's just not. Nor is there the people to fucking man them.
Everybody's mental health is on the edge these days. That's just. And speaking of which, can I ask how things are going? How things went with your first counselor, or is that too private?
It wasn't a counseling; it was just intake. So they have to phone you and see how fucking nutty I get.
No, because you're on a really important journey. I mean, you're figuring out your brain. And I think, I'm pretty sure now, since I thought my bike was stolen, I'm pretty sure I have COVID.
Well,
Sorry,
sorry. I'm not coughing because of it. I'm just trying to pull back on a joint here. I'm coughing my face off. Sorry. It was intake, but when I started telling her, like, she was asking like just some generalized questions, so I gave her the answers, and she's like, "So you were 21 and you were married for 21 days. Am I getting that right?" She says.
That sounds good.
And I said,
like a rock
"Yeah,
star.
that's right."
Sorry.
She goes, "Was there children from?" She goes, "Was
there
there children from that?" And I went, "No."
You were married 21 days and you had 3 children.
No, yeah, right. She goes, "So there was no children from that marriage?" No, I was married for 21 days. I was with him for 5.5 years. Like, I met him when I was 16, but she asked if there was children. So no, I said no. And then she gets on, and then usually it's like, because it's an attention deficit and PTSD diagnosis that I'm looking for, because of my mother saying that I was already squirrely already. I'm getting straight to a psychiatrist. It's going to take probably 2 or 3 months, though. She said there's a wait time for that, which is fine. She goes, the intake always is quick. It's waiting for the psychiatrist. But, so many other people were like, well, you're going to have to go to a psychologist, and they're going to send you to group, and you're going to have to do all these stupid counseling sessions before they'll send you to a psychiatrist. And I'm like, oh, well, this will be fun. That's not the case, because I'm looking for specifics, because I know that I'm not. And she kept asking me if I was suicidal. And I'm like, no, because there's a portion of my life where I was, like, back in 91, that goes back to the 21 days marriage, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. There was a suicide attempt when I was young, when I was 21. After the shit I'd been through with that fucking guy, it just kind of rolled out. Anyway, whatever, it happens, right?
I think they have to ask these,
But she was, like, so concerned about me being suicidal today and whether I needed emergency help because of the stuff that she was, like I was talking about. And some of the stuff, kind of makes you, a little bit, it's emotional, like, especially when they're asking you questions about your past. Trauma. and you're, so, she goes, are you sure you're not suicidal and don't need immediate help? I'm like, no, I'm good. But she kept thinking that I was suicidal, because I guess most people, if they had as much shit that I just finished telling her, would be suicidal. And maybe I am, to a point, but I'm not. Because I told her straight up, like, I couldn't even if I wanted to. She goes, what do you mean by that? I said, I got 10 dogs, a kid, and a bunch of animals. I go, who's going to take care of my fucking mess? Who's going to take care of the stuff that I've got? Like, I would never leave these creatures, because who's going to take care of them? What would happen to my dogs? If I died tomorrow, what would happen? Like, my son would be taken care of. My daughter would come get, or my mom and dad, or if mom and dad were gone, my kid, like, Talia would take care, and Tyrus would take care of Taven. I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm worried about it. But I know Tyrus or Talia would come and take care of Taven, right? But who would take care of my dogs? My dogs would end up at an SPCA or some fucking rescue. I've got 4 senior dogs out there. One's 18 years old. He wouldn't know what to do if he didn't live here. Same with Stitch and Peter. Like, they've been with me their whole lives. They wouldn't know what to do without me. So, I mean, they're going to die before me, thankfully, because I don't know what... I mean, I can get over the grief of losing them, but I don't know if they get over the grief of losing me. So, and that's how I feel.
I think people sometimes have animals for that reason. Sometimes, it's very important to have someone or a creature that you get love from them, obviously. But I do think sometimes there's a connection. Obviously, when people have kids, like, yes, it's thinking
but
about.
I have all this shit show going on.
Care of them is really important for sure.
But then she also made me, like, sit back, and she goes, so do you have any friends or support systems that live in Cranbrook? And I went, no. She goes, where's your friends? I go, well, one of them lives in Nova Scotia. The other one lives in Montreal. My other friend lives in Lethbridge. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really boil it down to, like, 6 people that I really consider my friends and I know that have my back. But they don't live here. I don't hang out with anybody here. Like, very rarely am I out. Well, how often do I go? I don't go anywhere. I don't have girlfriends that I go out for dinner with. I don't have girlfriends where we go garage sailing and shit. Where when I was in Lethbridge, me and Sue used to do that every Saturday. We'd get up, we'd go for breakfast, we'd go garage sailing. Me and Brenda would do that too when I lived in Tabor. Like, I had a girlfriend that I could do that kind of stuff with, right? And since I've moved here, I really don't. Because they've all got, I don't know what going on. You know what I mean? In fact, the matter is I don't really know that many people here. People here are really...
Well, you had a friend who died too, didn't you? There? In Cranbrook?
Yeah. I did.
So that's pretty sad too. And but you know, we should always try to be. I mean, right now it's also hard because of the pandemic. But garage selling, is that something you like to do?
Yeah, going to the
Yeah.
thrift stores and
Yeah,
going to the
no,
thrift
no.
store
I
and,
mean, that is a kind of a fun thing
yeah,
that I
like
know,
get up
you know,
Saturday
that
morning.
people
Yeah,
like to do, and
yeah. I love going garage
collecting.
sailing and like just jumping in my car and taking my camera and going for a drive out to lake and just sitting there taking pictures of absolutely nothing but leaves off the tree. Like, you know what I mean? Like just out stuff, but I don't have like anybody to do that with. And when Elvin comes home, he doesn't really want to go do much of anything either. We do go out for dinner and stuff, and spend time together. But I mean, he doesn't want to go out garage sailing with me either. Like he would drive me. He would definitely drive me around though. Yeah. Like he would. Like I'm not gonna say he wouldn't take me. He has lots, but he's gone. Like that's another. Like he's gone most of the month. So I sit here alone with my son, who used to be a lot of work, and I'd be busy with Taven all the time. But let's face it, Taven's turning into his own little person now. He's 12. He doesn't need mom like he used to anymore. I don't need to change diapers, and I'm not, wiping up slop off the floor. I mean, sure, I have to throw some food at him every once in a while, but I really don't, and he doesn't, like, he'll come out and hang out and watch some TV with me for a little bit, but his interest already wants to be, talking to his friends or playing his game.
Oh my God! Look at my grandkids are 14 and 12. They're into their peers. They're into their telephones. They're into their video games. They're into their social media platforms. Like they're into their friends. That's their world becomes different. And more just separated, and that's in a way it's normal. It's normal. They don't want to hang out with the old people very much.
Right. So I got into a bit of a scuffle. Here's my attention deficit going whoop-de-doo. Cannabis legalization. We went live last night to discuss the 3rd-year anniversary of cannabis legalization, and I got into this kind of a pissing match with this chick on Instagram because she's going out there telling everybody that RSO is illegal and it's highly illegal in Canada and and I'm like, no, it's not. Oil is legal in Canada. The Smith ruling gave us legality. No, it's not. It's illegal. You can't get RSO. Yeah, you can at the store. In fact, I can go buy syringes of it at the store.
Are you sure this woman was Canadian?
Yeah, she's in Toronto. I've done interviews about this, she says. She's been a guest on my show, actually. Oh my but she's God. Trying to tell these people, whoever her audience is, because she's some cannabis influencer. She's from Cranbrook, for fuck's sakes. Anyway, moved to Toronto.
It's incredible. We live in a time of a lot of misinformation, but there's a lot of misinformation about cannabis still.
But she's like telling people that you can't get, that RSO is illegal and that even in Canada it's illegal. No, it's not.
I mean, I'm sure that there's so many stores. I mean, I have yet to go into a Quebec store. I mean, I feel like I will.
You can buy shatter. You can buy tips of oil.
Sure,
you can buy anything that you could buy at a dispenser before. I mean, before the edibles came in. But once the edibles and the extracts got in, you can buy hash. You can buy hash at a store. You can buy oil at the store. You can buy gummy bears. You can buy fucking drinks at the stores.
Yeah,
you go to the reserve. You go to the reserve. You can buy all that shit else, too. But only it's black.
Toronto would have everything. Like for sure, Toronto has everything. Absolutely, and there's a store like on so many main streets. There's like 5 stores on, like there's stores everywhere in Toronto.
There's stores here everywhere too. We have more cannabis stores in Cranbrook than we do liquor stores now. We literally have like I think there's 8 or 10 stores. To be fair,
I think I read somewhere in the town of Belleville or something. There's now more cannabis stores than Tim Hortons. So yeah, no, like
except for where Al lives. That little town where Al lives, they've opted out of cannabis a few times where they just will not allow a store to come in there. There are towns,
really?
the municipalities are allowed to do that. They get because of the way the patchwork breakdown goes. A municipality can opt out of having a cannabis store. They can put a bylaw in.
Idiots. Total idiots.
Right?
To not have the money or the jobs.
Oh, they'll get the money, though. they'll get the money because the money it's broken into provincial. The province will end up giving them some of the money.
I know, but but they could have like money right there locally with jobs, etc. But no, that's just like we have this weird space in Montreal called, oh, I can't remember. It's like a weird little borough, and it's not far from where I live. And you're not allowed to smoke anywhere on the street or like cigarettes or cannabis. And it's just, it's just weird. Like it's just weird. They just like have like it's like they created their own little law. And a friend of mine lives near where their main office is, and she has like a big, huge cannabis plant in the backyard. It's so funny. But anyway.
Well, that's like these strata apartment complexes in these places because even in British Columbia, if you buy, I don't know anybody who would buy an apartment. I just have never understood that in my whole fucking life. Why you'd buy a fucking 4 walls inside of a fucking building. Like, it's never yours. The building's never yours. Why are you spending $220,000 on 4 walls in a fucking apartment building? Anyway, but people will buy these apartments or buy these condos even, and they're then ran by a strata corporation, which then tells them what they can and cannot do in their own fucking houses. Like, I mean, I'm sure I pay property taxes, and but I can run around naked in my backyard if I fucking want to, and I can grow fucking marijuana plants in my backyard if I want to. If I lived in a townhouse around the corner that belonged to strata, even though I owned it, paid a mortgage on it, I couldn't do that. And even in British Columbia, some of these apartment complexes will not allow you to grow cannabis or smoke or smoke. My girlfriend lives in Red Deer. She lives in a place she owns. In fact, the mortgage is outright paid for. She doesn't even pay a fucking mortgage on it. She pays her strata fees or whatever fucking fees. And they told her she couldn't smoke cannabis in her fucking townhouse.
Unbelievable. I know, it's unbelievable that people.
But she's like, she's like, I paid how much? I paid $200 and some thousand for this townhouse. It's mine. I don't even have a mortgage on it. The bank doesn't own it. I do. And you're going to tell me that I can't smoke pot in my own fucking house? Get stuffed. That'd be the fucking day, I tell you what. I'd never live in I don't understand that. I don't know anybody why
especially, they, on top of mortgages, they often pay, like, incredibly
strata
high
fees. Yeah, she pays, like, another $300 and some dollars for fees and stuff they do all the lawns, and they do all the, like, she doesn't have to shovel snow. She doesn't have to mow her lawn.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's, like, it's a gated community type of thing. I mean, it's quite, hoity-toity, snoity kind of place, I guess. I actually have never been there, so I don't know for sure what it's actually like.
My mother actually lived in one of those places. Actually, I wonder if they could smoke weed at her place now. She died 10 years ago. I actually had a dream about her the other night. It was kind of profound. Yeah. It was kind of nice because it was like a little visit.
Yeah.
And
Mel was telling me she was staying at this house in Thunder Bay where she's working, and her and one of the other girls are like, "We saw a ghost. I swear I saw a ghost. It was this white thing that went flying down the hallway, blah, blah." We both seen it. I go, I bet you did. Like, I don't even doubt that. I believe in that more than I believe in the spaghetti god in the sky. Like, you know what I mean?
Did you say spaghetti god?
Yeah, the spaghetti god in the sky. That's what I call him. Because all he pictures this great big bowl of spaghetti up there in a great big white bowl with 2 eyes looking down at everybody. Because that's all Yeah. I have the weirdest fucking thoughts, Loretta. This is why I need to go see a psychiatrist.
Like in another dimension, when we die, and I feel like, she was visiting. She knows I'm having a challenging time, and she was just, having a little visit in my dream, which was good.
Happens. You know what? I honestly believe that people that we love come to us in our dreams, and I honestly believe that they're with us all the time when we actually do need that emotional support. They do come because, like I said, I'm here in my grandmother's house. I can smell her sometimes. I know it sounds kind of creepy, weird. But I don't know if it's just the way the perfume or the way that I'm in the bathroom. And in some mornings, I just get this whiff of like lilac-y kind of whatever it is, and I can smell my grandma. And God help me if I could smell my uncle. I probably can when I can smell liquor in the house. It's probably him. When the house smells like stale beer, O'Morley's here. You know what I mean? And so and that's how it's weird, but it's something that I always have done. Like, I can smell. It's a sense. Apparently, it's something to do with that psychic ability too. Some people have different ways of connecting, and mine's through smell. It's like it's weird.
Look at smell is the last sense that goes when we die. So it's a very powerful sense, smell. Very powerful. So yeah, no, I think that makes sense actually.
I'm super hypersensitive to smell. I always have been. Like, well, I've always got to have like an incense burning or something like my diffuser's going. Because if I walk in the house and anything smells like a dog kennel, I'm really oversensitive to my house smelling bad. I'm really oversensitive to a lot of fucking things. I must have been fucking pounded in my head from a young age that everything's got to be spotless or something. You know what I mean?
Because, is that how your mother was? Like, was she?
My mom worked. My mom worked when I was little. Like, my mom worked. My mom had a job. So, to be fair, I don't know. She was at one point in time, and now I go to her house, and it's a chaotic fucking nightmare. Not always, but she used to be super tidy and clean, but I think it's because we would get up Saturday morning and the house would get spotless, and then we'd be gone. Right? We were gone. We were in school or we were at grandma's. The house was left clean in the morning when we left for school, and it was clean when we got home, and everything, it was a once a week, you got up, vacuumed, dusted, cleaned bathrooms, the old 70s, do your chores on Saturday morning because everybody works. Right. I grew up in the 80s. Yeah. I was a latchkey kid, right?
Yeah.
As I'm realizing now, like, how many of us grew up without our parents? Like, when I moved here, I was 11 years old when I moved to Lethbridge. My mom and dad worked. We got home from school at 3 o'clock. We had no supervision. I was 11. I was the same age as David. And I couldn't imagine him having to, I don't know, maybe I've sheltered him so much, but I just couldn't imagine him having to do the shit that we did, or even doing the shit that we did, to be fair. I was like, God, I hope he doesn't do this shit I did. Oh my God.
I know. No, I think we just we're way more protective, and we're way more worried about them. I think I used to we had a park down the street from where I lived, and I remember being really little and saying, okay, I'm going to the park for a half an hour, but I don't even remember. I didn't even know what a half hour was. But nobody cared because there were so many kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
And so yeah, we, my mother used to reminisce that, it was, that it was a, more of an ideal time, safer and blah blah. No, it wasn't. It totally wasn't. More denial. That's what it was.
Well, I think that was a factor that we didn't have social media, so we couldn't take pictures. We couldn't prove anything. Like, your mom and dad would call you a liar a lot of times. Say that didn't happen. Yeah, it did. Now it's like, yeah, it did. We got it on video. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's sacred now. Yeah, you did. You peed in the alley. I got it on video. Because, that was something I used to hang over my brother's head because it was something that was totally, bad, right? And we were out playing in the summertime. I don't know how old we were. I don't know, 6 or 7. And I caught him peeing in the alley. I'm going to tell Mom, you're not allowed to pee in the alley. And she's totally mortified. He's 2 years younger than me, too. He's like, yeah. Because we were taught, you come in the house and use the bathroom.
In the alley.
Yeah, here's my brother peeing in the alley. He was like, I'm telling Mom. I don't know why that sticks out in my head, but it does. It does. If he was ever saying anything, I'd just look at him, tell Mom we peed in the alley. Just an asshole.
Currency to hold over his head.
Yeah, for fucking 45 years. I'm telling Mom you peed in the alley.
Do this, or I'm telling Mom you peed in the alley.
Oh, fuck. Walking home from bars, I probably peed in a few alleys myself now. But when you're kids, you're told, that's a big no-no, right? I remember being mortified. It was being mortified. Anyways, it's 7:30. We better take a quick break. Thank our sponsors for letting us have this beautiful spot. And to Al Graham for allowing us to be on here.
Yeah,
so we'll
talk about peeing in the alley.
Nobody listens to us anyways. We'll be right back. You're listening to us live on paceradio.net. No,
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CTCP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CTCP.
Who has huge buds? You do, if you shop at BMA Hydroponics. Attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net.
Yeah.
All right, we're back live. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, but I think today was a tipping point. I think for a lot of Indigenous people. To be fair, I know there's a lot of anger out there. I know that there's a lot of forgiveness though as well. And that's one thing I think the couple of the elders that did speak, I don't know if you sat, I did. I sat and watched the whole thing all day long because, of course, I have nothing better to do with my life but sit and watch TV. But Trudeau ate shit on a stick. Like, he took full mouthfuls, big spoonfuls today, and he took it with grace, to be fair. But yeah, I think today will be a tipping point. Either the Liberals are going to get off the pot and actually fucking follow through, give them the funding that they're asking for, set up these, elders lodges, because they want an elder lodge, which is like an old folks, elder lodge, like long-term care homes. They want those put on provincial, like, but again, like, municipal, provincial, and federal governments all have to be on board for a lot of this stuff. It's not all just stuff that's coming out, and people are going, oh, the Liberal government doesn't do fuck all. Okay, we have a brand new kicking horse highway that's opening through the Trans-Canada here that hadn't been done. That's all federal money. For infrastructure, that's a fucking $20 billion project. There are 5 new bridges that are going through there. We have an electric ferry on the Kootenay Lake that was federal money that was brought into the British Columbia, into the province, like, separately from all the provincial money, infrastructure money that the province puts in, municipalities, taxes, whatever. These were separate grants. So the Liberal government have just been pumping out money like fucking 90. Why are deficits so high? But all these things had to be done. Now the Indigenous and First Nations want their water, and that's fair. There's 50, I guess.
Now, where are they at on the water count?
There's 50 that actually have to be completed, but there's also there are plans in place and negotiations with these last 50 that have to be done. So there was 105 boil water when they got into office. Now they've completed 109. So they've gone farther past where they were supposed to.
More came on board afterwards. Right. Yeah.
But again, it's nation to nation, and they have to, you know, it's a process, right? It's not just, and government bureaucracy takes time. And it's slow.
No, I think that, you know, they can stand on their record of what they've done so far. There's always going to be some people who are going to be upset and say not enough has been done. That's just a reality. But, you know, I think that, you know, a lot has been done and a lot more needs to be done. And I feel like they have, you know, the intention and the will to do it. So I think people should be so grateful that we didn't get a conservative government, because I really don't think anything would have been done, or very little would have been done. And
and the minority that we've got right now, let's hope that they can get this together.
Keep going forward.
Well, you know, he's got a cabinet to build right now too, right? So, you know, that can change things as well, with putting different people in different cabinet positions, opening other ministries, really stepping out and doing that. And that was also mentioned today that, you know, these ministries that they've got are piled up with the work. They might have to spread that out, because another thing that goes along with reconciliation isn't just, you know, the Indian Affairs file and not just the Ministry of Indigenous, you know, this and that. It goes to infrastructure, it goes to Ministry of Mines and Forestries and everything.
Yeah.
Because every ministry that is working within our federal government has a point in this. So you have different, like, there are so many pinnacles on this. It's not just one signature here and we can move forward with that. It's got, same with, like, when we talk about universal benefits too, like, you know, like, that's another thing that we really need in Canada. But in order to get there, you have to break down already systems that are built. So, like, whether you want to call it colonization or whatever, but welfare systems, all our social systems would have to be broken down and revamped, because the universal benefit would be federal then. And we've got welfare programs and PWD, like, you know, like provincial disabilities and all these things, and CPP and unemployment, right? Yeah. So you got unemployment and Canada Pension Plan that are federal programs. Then you've got welfare and provincial disabilities like AISH and PWD and OHIP and whatever in Ontario. So all these, never mind the extended medical benefits to go with these things too. So, like I said, even with a universal benefit, this is a huge frickin' project that they all would have to be on board with. And it would entail breaking down all these other provincial systems, which means the provinces would have to be on board. Same, like, so I guess we're starting with, you know, the $10 a day daycare. How portions of that's coming from the federal government, but then, you know, the province still has to be on board to put a portion of that money funding in too. Where we get back to the cannabis funds, because the cannabis funds, they get 75%, the provinces get 75% of that kicked back to each province. Federal government's only keeping 25% of those profits off the GST. And again, like I mentioned too, everybody that works in the cannabis industry now is a job that they're paying income tax. They're paying them minimally $15.20 an hour because minimum wage in British Columbia now is $15.20. And I know they're paying them better than that. They're paying them between $20 and $22 an hour starting out here. So, and that's just to work in the stores.
I wonder how many people actually. I wonder how many workers there are in the stores across Canada. What do you think? Like,
well, I know that the ones even here, like there's at least two, the owner and then two other staff members, because they're just small stores, and I can't considering Cranbrook small, but you have to have like these guys are some of them are open till 11 o'clock, and they're open from 9 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, so they've got to have a couple shifts of staff, right? Whether it's one or two, and most of them have two on the floor all the time because it's like a liquor store kind of situation. You know, if you get robbed or you know what I mean. So you want to have two people in that store just for safety purposes. Anyways, at least I would. I'd want to have two or three, especially if girls are working together, right? You don't want to have a single woman working in a liquor store or a cannabis store, anywhere where it might, for the potential for safety, right? I'm just thinking safety wise.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, I'm sure it's like it's got to be tens of thousands, don't you think, of jobs? Like in the stores alone. Never mind the
trimmers
LPs
and the
that
LPs.
have, some of these LPs, I'm sure have a lot of workers because they're huge, right?
Yeah, and the trimming, like even if you're trimming, like they're charged usually $20-$25 an hour to do trimming in these grows. But a lot of these grows too, I think these larger ones, they did a lot of trimming, hand trimming to begin with. I think unfortunately a lot of them have gone to trimming with the machines, which has taken out that. I think that's what the problem is with legal cannabis. To be fair, it's not that they're eradicating or bound. The machines take off the trichomes. That's just the way those machines work, and it's like where all the crystal and stuff is made, and then it's made into hash and everything else. So they're no different than the crappy old dealers that we used to have that used to bounce all our weed or wash it and fucking sell it after it was washed. And here's a grandma. Here's some fucking here's 8 ounces of fucking honey oil and some washed weed. Woo! You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that they were all that bad.
Like the trimming company that is, that's one of the commercials for Pace Radio, for example. Like, if you get really good trimmers who, is that a niche thing? I mean,
those machines are not. They're not cheap, right? Well, the thing is, I would believe, like I said, I don't know what the licensed production sites do. Those machines aren't cheap. I think what he does though is he goes, because there's still medical patients in Canada that are growing hundreds of plants. Like, let's be fair, they were out there doing a live trim the other day, and it was a patient's garden. It was all outdoor. It was absolutely gorgeous. I would believe. I think there was maybe 60 plants, maybe 50, 60 plants. But you figure, like, if you're a patient, those machines are a godsend because you can't trim 50 or 60 plants when you're by yourself. So if you've got, the ability to get somebody to come in with a machine, if you don't have like 10 friends that want to come over and hand trim, I prefer hand trimming. That's just the way I, prefer to do it. But that's me. Everybody's got their own, own choice to do whatever they want, right? But these machines do really take the plant, like the trichomes off the plant. It bounces just like that, the hash.
They haven't improved these. Like, I'm sure they're using these massive machines, like you say, and these LPs, but you don't think they've improved them at all, like to a point where they don't.
Where they suck more of the trichomes off? No, they probably suck more of the trichomes off so they can make all the shatter and all the fucking hash and stuff that they're pumping out in the stores under their names too, right? Because now they can make shatter and hash. It is available in the stores, RSO, whatever. You can get CBD, you can get lube in the fucking stores now. Like, it's recreational, but apparently, medical is now in the stores too. Like, if you can buy CBD in a fucking pod store, that's medical, right? Supposedly. Okay, well, you can get CBD, 1-to-1 candies, and all kinds of edibles in the stores. So, but I honestly believe that's where, I'm not stupid. I worked, I ran in the black market for fucking 30 years. I know how these growers and these dealers and everybody worked. I was one. I might not be as shady as a lot of them, but that's where our oil and all your fucking hash comes from. It's not that somebody's, washing their trim, baby. They're throwing their trim in the garbage. And another thing with the legal industry, too, that really pisses me off is you buy these bulk joint pre-rolls. right? And they only charge you like, I don't know, $4.99 or whatever it is for 12 of them. Well, it's all the stock in the stem and the bottom of the bag. They're just grinding it up and fucking putting into cones. And it tastes like pencil fucking shavings. If your joint tastes like pencil shavings, people, it's probably got stock in it.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about that, because I've never smoked a joint of my own that tastes like pencil shavings. And then I'm thinking, fuck, what tastes like pencil shavings? Oh, it's the stalk of the plant. That makes sense. Stop. Sorry, my dog's playing with the kitten.
How's Kitty doing? How's little Jinxie?
Oh, she's good.
She's good.
She's good. Except that Pedro still he wants to eat her. I let him in today to try to introduce him because I figured I'd wait a week. Let her get a little bigger, so in case he did try to bite her or something, if she would be able to manage it. First thing he did was go to bite her. I'm like, okay, that's it. You're bad. I can't have you out here trying to bite her. Like, you're an asshole. Like, why are you doing this? You know, him and Stitch have got around fighting all the time, so that's good. I mean, at least I've got those two, but now he wants to eat the kitten, so. Another 20-pound chihuahua with an attitude.
Yeah, I'm sad that General Powell died today, because he was such a good leader, and it is kind of appalling how the right-wing anti-vax movement is, saying this is proof that, vaccines don't work.
Oh, and the horrible things they're saying about him from Iraq.
It just keeps us, the problem with their opinion is, well, for one thing, it does, make someone like him die because people don't get vaccinated. That's why he got COVID again. Why he got it in the first place. And being 85 is a condition, having Parkinson's, having cancer, all of these are conditions that suppress the immune system and make them incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so people, they just refuse to accept that part of why it's important to get vaccinated. They never want to think that, I don't know, they just have such a cognitive dissonance about infecting other people. And so then they directly go to, this is proof vaccines don't work. And I saw something on my Facebook feed of like a bunch of, sheep. And like, oh, going to get my third booster shot because the first two didn't work. Like, just like the shit that is out there, the misinformation.
I went and got my third booster shot. It's not because I know that the fucking first two didn't work. I just want as much immunity as I can fucking pump into myself. Like, I'm hoping that it hasn't waned at all, and all I've done is fucking super jab me. So I've got like superhuman fucking horns next.
Look at if Colin Powell, he was apparently had an appointment to get his booster shot, and maybe that would have saved his life. Likely he could have. So yeah, it's just very sad and very unfortunate. But
we had a lady here that they finally put in the paper. It was actually on Facebook, it was public, so I can speak about it because it's public fucking information. But she was the chaperone for the Bugle Band, the Cranbrook Bugle Band, for decades. And she was 84, and she died of COVID too. And I don't know whether she was vaccinated or not. It didn't say whether she was vaccinated or not. It just said that she died of COVID on her obituary on Facebook. So it's not like I'm spewing shit that's not public knowledge. And
who is she?
She was a chaperone. The Cranbrook Bugle Band used to be world renowned for being, in all the parades, stampede parades and stuff. So it's been disbanded now, but she was the chaperone. She was the mom that always, was helping the girls when they're on trips and sewing up, yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't know her. Mom didn't know her either. Because we were never in the Bugle Band. I left when I was 11, so I wasn't old enough to join Bugle Band. And by the time I ever came back, I was too old to be in Bugle Band. My mom wasn't musical. My mom didn't join Bugle Band. My aunt didn't either. I got a friend here. Well, I wouldn't call her a friend. I got somebody that I know here that was in Bugle Band when she was a girl, and her sister.
So it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. The Bugle Band was a big deal
internationally.
Yeah, they went international. It was a big deal. Like if you were in the Cranbrook Bugle Band back in the 70s and the 80s, it was a big thing. Like you were going to the Calgary Stampede Parade, you were in every parade, Rose Bowl parades in the States. Like they were in every huge parade in North America. Yeah, it was a big thing. So yeah, she passed away here last week, and it says right in her obituary. And our COVID outbreak at our old folks is over at Joseph Creek. The total was 15 outbreak, 2 dead. More staff than old folks that ended up positive. That pisses me off. You know what? Everybody's like, oh, well, you can't mandate it. You know what? If you're a teacher that's not science fucking based, if you're a fucking nurse that doesn't believe in science, and if you're a fucking cop or a fucking firefighter that doesn't believe in public safety, get the fuck out of, bye. See you the fuck later. You're probably the cop that's taking the fucking the payout. You're the cop that's fucking taking the drugs off the street and reselling it back after it's been fucking laced. Go fuck yourselves.
But it's shocking. 22,000 healthcare workers in Quebec are refusing the vaccine.
They verified that. They said it wasn't all healthcare workers. It was healthcare, like laundry, kitchen staff.
Well, that's maybe why I'm getting a job interview tomorrow.
So it's not so much medical professionals. 90%. Somebody said 90+% of medical doctors are vaccinated.
Right.
Like they said, it was an education thing. And somebody did a TikTok this morning or yesterday about it, that even within the medical profession, there are different levels of education. So like you can go to tech school and be somebody that wipes because you have to actually to clean our ORs and stuff, you actually have to go to school for 2 years to be an OR tech. What an OR tech does is literally wipe the OR out, like wash floors, clean the instruments, make sure that everything's autoclaved, but you're basically a glorified cleaning person for the OR, right? But then you're classified as a CN tech.
Yeah,
right?
No, look I'm just seeing the headline on CNN here of Chris Como, and there's a standoff over police vaccine mandates escalating across the U.S. Yeah, I don't get it. I just, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
We'll see you later then. And the RCMP too, we're going to stand beside you. You're going to stand your thin blue line still? A bunch of white cis males that are all fucking having tantrums? Because if you look at the fucking look at the cops. Look at the cops that we have in our society. What are they? 90% of them are white cis fucking males. Sorry to fucking tell you. And they're the ones that are crying their fucking faces up.
Can you do that again?
It's true. But it's true, Loretta. It's totally true.
So listen, some of the stoners that are driving me crazy with their, who are white.
But it is, but they're white cis males.
Can you tell them that they got something in common with those cops?
Right? But if you look at, like I said, 90% of the cops that are bucking this are white cis males. So go, take your fucking white fragility and fuck off with it, because we don't want you as a cop anyway. You're probably the cop that's fucking pulling over the indigenous mom, smashing her window out and fucking yanking her out of her car because she's brown. Go fuck yourself, pig. That's how I feel.
Tell me how you really feel.
I have zero. Because like I said, as my brother, who will never hear this because he doesn't listen to my shit, cop, right? Works at the Lethbridge Correction Institute. I'm not getting the vaccine. No, you're a white cis male. Of course you're not. Fuck. So you know what I mean? Like, does that mean that more white cis males in their 40s will unalive themselves because they're not going to take COVID?
They're having a big meltdown, a lot of them, for sure.
That's how I feel about it. Just go shut up. So it's a full moon. I think it's a full moon tonight. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a bit better now, because maybe it's a full moon tonight. I think it's a full moon tonight. I just have this feeling it's a full moon. I don't know why. Let's find out. Is it a full moon tonight? Full spectrum. Okay, we're looking at full spectrum. P.S. Full spectrum oil is available at your local store or your LP. It's not illegal in Canada. Smith versus, the Smith ruling, where we could, have,
edibles.
Cannabis in all forms.
Yeah.
You know?
And oils and edibles.
Oh! What's the date today? It's the
Today's
19th.
the 18th.
Okay,
Isn't
October 20th is the full moon. See, I knew it was coming.
So we're getting close.
Yeah.
We're getting close, because those are pretty good howls at the white cis male syndrome that you got going there.
It's the truth, though. Like I said, if you look around at most police forces, well, you look at like I said, you look at police forces in Canada, in Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. What did Calgary do? They went over to Britain, to the UK, to recruit for fucking Calgary City Police. Calgary City Police are the most brutal fucking bunch of racist pigs that fucking walk the earth. Even in Tabor's the only town in fucking Alberta that's had a private police force since 1909. They pay 25% of their tax base to a private cop for a population of 9,000 people in Tabor, Alberta, so they can drive around looking like RoboCop in their brand new Dodge Chargers. Go fuck your hats. They are there, and they're all white cis males. You don't see a bunch of brown guys fucking out there in their fucking cars fucking, nah. Sorry, they're all white men. Cops are all white men. So if you don't want your vaccine,
I mean, I don't think in Toronto or Montreal. I mean, I think they are definitely more diversified.
The RCMP wanted more diversity, and they were actually only hiring minority, bilingual women. At one point.
In Montreal?
No, in the RCMP recruitment. Because they're still recruiting. Even the military, everybody's recruiting right now. But the RCMP at one point in time only wanted minority, bilingual women. If you didn't fall into the category,
they still got big problems.
Well, that's the problem with the RCMP.
Like, every time, they appoint a new director of the military.
Oh my God, they just pull more. Yeah,
scandals come back up to
well, that's what I mean. What is the military? What are we supposed to think? The military is just full of fucking sexual predators. All of them.
Well, it just seems like they're of a certain generation where they got away with a lot of shit. Let's be honest, they just did. Right, and I guess in those kinds of institutions.
Fournier is not that old, or Fortin. Fortin's not that old. He's my age. That's not acceptable.
Well, he's 50, but looking in the 70s and the 80s, I mean, feminism, started, getting powerful in the 70s and 80s. But look at first the backlash towards feminism and women joining the police force really only started happening in the 70s, right? And I mean, those first waves of women in the police force and the military.
I think the first female
they were
cop,
lambs to the slaughter for sexual abuse, So
there was a first female cop in Lethbridge. It was Darcy James. She was the first female cop in Lethbridge, and she was, what year was that? Because they just had an anniversary about it. But she was the first.
She retiring, or is she?
She did already. First female police.
I mean, the first ones, really and truly, they went through
1980. So it was 1980. She was the first female cop in Lethbridge, Alberta. Darcy James. It was 1980.
Yeah, I can't imagine what some of them went through, but now we've been hearing about it for years now, and it's pretty awful, pretty traumatic.
Well, like I said, with the RCMP, when they're having problems recruiting, is because everybody's got to be bilingual, right? And in the West, we aren't taught French. Like they stumble.
So they were recruiting RCMP just bilingual.
Always, you have to be bilingual.
Women for all over Canada.
Yeah, you've always had to be bilingual.
Yeah, because that is the RCMP, right? Yeah. But I mean, the RCMP too. Even though they have a woman now as a director, which is good, but even still, I don't know, the systemic issues are
she might as well have a penis
there, right?
Lucky might as well have a penis. She's no different than the rest of them.
Oh my God. I can't believe you said that. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's awful. I think you just got I think you're gonna get a sexist sin tax thrown at you for that one, bud.
Truth hurts, man. Fuck.
I think it's time to end our show on that note. Right? 10 o'clock. Can we end it like 2 minutes ago so we won't get in trouble? If anyone ever watches us, ever. I don't think anyone will.
I don't think anybody will anyway. It's the truth though. Like it's and I have no problem with that, to be fair. But my mom, it's because of my mom, right? My mom worked for the RCMP, so this is the stuff that she tells me. Like she's from the old boys club. She was trained. My mom, yeah. My mom RCMP. My mom knows all the dirt.
All of them?
Yeah.
Are we still on the air?
Yep. I don't care. But we'll wrap it up.
Say good night.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up and have a good night, everybody. We'll run our commercial and you, yeah.
Yeah, for more political bitching. Join us again next week, bitches.
Use that, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, we have a good night and we'll talk to you guys next week. Maybe we'll get StreamYard figured out.
Think about those nights in Montreal. All I think about is we.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Who
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.